What's up, YouTube? Tom Tism here with the RedCat KIAJU, and today I plan on, as you can see, my KIAJU has been through hell and back, and today I'm gonna pull out the gear because why my KIAJU hasn't been running is the gear on the end of this motor where the spur gear is got a lot of strip spots in it. So as I do it, I'm gonna keep recording parts and pieces, and we'll get on with the show. So there's a couple things I want to show you all about the KIAJU if you're ever working on it, and that is if you go to you're replacing the motor, or gonna upgrade the gear, switch the gear out. As you see on mine, I have a lot of plastic, and that's because I ate my spur gear up. But the splines on the gear don't look too bad, so I'm not going to mess with those. I'm not going to take the bracket off of the motor mount, and this sits in here, and when you try to get it out, this bracket goes in here between this, like so. And once you get this out of the way, which is just a screw on the back side here that comes right through this hole, and then this pulls right out. But see that hole right there? That goes here. Let's see here. Oop. So the gear messes with the spur gear, and this part goes right here. And that one little screw is all that holds that in. You remove that, and then you can pull the motor out. But that still doesn't get you to be able to remove the spur gear. But while I'm here, I want to show you all something that's very important to be watching out. This is why you should do maintenance to your RCs all the time. And oh, it's on this end. Look at here. That's bad. That plugs into my motor, and what had happened is, as you see, they got a bracket right here that holds the wires, and it was just jiggling it enough to let it got close to the motor, and as you see, it lays back like that. They come in, lay back like that, and either by rubbing or by heat, I was fixing to have a short circuit. And that's the one thing that you worry about with an electric motor is when you have electric RC car, all it takes is for one short and things can go bad, real bad, like real quick. But in order to change out that spur gear, I'm going to either remove the back half, the rear end off the whole back, or I have to pull the rear spur gear there so I can take this out, because as you see, it's pinched in there between this shaft and the shaft that goes to the rear. So I'm currently just took some photos, so I know what kind of part I'm looking for, and I'm gonna put it back together, because if it sits for a day or two, you might not get the bolts back into where you think they went, and or where they belong, and now that I got the information that I need so I can get the right part, I'm going to put it back together. I'm not going to tighten everything down super tight, but I am going to put it back together. That way, when I do go to change out the gear, which is probably this coming weekend, I will know where everything goes, because I'll assemble it, disassemble, and then reassemble as soon as I put the gear back in. Here you can see I put the drive shaft guide back on, and the rear drive shaft guide back on, and I just put these bolts in to where they're snug. I mean, it's really not loose, but at the same time I didn't tighten them down at all. I just snug them up. And next I'll put on my centerpiece here and the back piece here. So this is what the bottom looks like after I get it reassembled. And like I said, none of this is tight. I just put it all back together. That way, when I get the part, I can quickly pull it apart, because nothing's tight. And, you know, practice makes perfect, as they say. And I just don't want none of the parts to get lost. Maybe my tray get kicked over or something, and then bam, then you're trying to figure out what part goes where. And I try to avoid that at all costs. So as you see, I put the motor brace back in. I put the bolt back in that holds it in. The other bolt helps tension. And I put that bolt back in to hold the cover on. And I slid this bolt back in and tightened it up as well. That way, when I get my parts, which should be like next week, I can put it in. I can disassemble, put it together right with the good parts, and put it back together and be running in no time. And the last thing I want to share with y'all, in order to be able to pull the motor or change out that spur gear, you're going to need a 2.5 millimeter hex head, long shaft, 1.5, or no, a 2.0 hex head, long shaft, a 1.5 short shaft, and a 1.5 Allen wrench, because this you'll need to get in there. As you can see, this is longer than that, so therefore you're not able to remove that screw right there with it, because it's at too much of an angle. The long shaft, you'll need to come in here to get that, as you see. You know, so basically 4 tools in order to take the motor off and to remove the spur gear, or center diff, if you want to call it that. All right, thanks y'all. Tom Tism out.